When most people hear the words heart disease, they imagine a dramatic scene. Someone clutching their chest, collapsing suddenly, being rushed to the hospital. But that's not how heart disease really begins. The truth is, it starts quietly, silently, often years before any pain, any warning, or any visible sign appears. And that silence is what makes it so dangerous. Heart disease is not a sudden event, it's a slow, invisible process that begins deep within your arteries. Tiny injuries occur on the inner walls of your blood vessels, so small that you feel nothing at all. Gradually, these micro tears invite inflammation, and over time your arteries begin to stiffen and narrow. This process can continue for decades before the first symptom appears, and often, that first symptom is a heart attack. Yes, for millions of people, the first sign of heart disease is the heart attack itself. That's how silent this killer can be. But here's the hopeful part: your body whispers long before it screams. It gives you signals, subtle ones, that something isn't right. You start to notice you're a little more tired than usual. Climbing stairs feels harder than it used to. You feel a strange pressure in your chest, jaw, or back that you brush off as stress. You wake up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, or you just can't seem to get a good night's sleep. These are not random issues. These are early messages from your heart pleading for attention. And the tragedy is, most people ignore them until it's too late. So what starts this silent damage? The answer isn't cholesterol, it's inflammation, the body's hidden fire. Every day, we consume foods that fan the flames, processed snacks, refined sugars, and seed oils. These cause tiny injuries inside our arteries. The inner lining of those arteries, called the endothelium, gets damaged. Once that happens, cholesterol rushes in to patch the wound. And while we've been taught to blame cholesterol, it's really just doing its job. The true culprit is the inflammation that caused the wound in the first place. As Dr. Gundry often says, if you wait for symptoms, you've waited too long. That's the golden truth. If you wait for pain, you've already missed the warning phase, the silent phase when prevention was still possible. The real power lies in awareness, not medication. When you feel fatigue, when your breath shortens, when your heartbeat becomes irregular, don't dismiss it as just stress or getting older. These are not coincidences. They're signs of a system under strain. Your body doesn't speak in words. It speaks in sensations. If you listen carefully, it's already telling you what's wrong. Heart disease begins not in the heart, but in your daily habits. In what you eat, how you sleep, how you move, and how you manage stress. Every decision you make either heals your arteries or harms them. Every meal either calms inflammation or feeds it. Your lifestyle is writing your heart's story long before any doctor's test ever does. And remember this, your heart is not your enemy. It's your most loyal servant, working 24 hours a day, beating more than 100,000 times daily just to keep you alive. All it asks in return is a little care, a little awareness, and a little respect. So, the next time your heart whispers through fatigue, short breath, or discomfort, don't silence it. Listen, because heart disease doesn't begin with noise. It begins in silence. And those who learn to listen to that silence are the ones who live longer, stronger, and fuller lives. For decades, we've been told a simple story. Cholesterol causes heart disease. It's been printed on cereal boxes, repeated in commercials, and taught in medical schools for half a century. But like many stories, it was incomplete, because the truth, as science now shows, is that cholesterol isn't the villain at all. Inflammation is. Let's pause for a moment and think logically. If cholesterol were truly the enemy, then why does your body make it? Every cell in your body contains cholesterol. It's the building block of hormones, vitamin D, and the very membranes that keep your cells alive. Without it, you wouldn't survive even a day. So if cholesterol is essential for life, why do we blame it for killing us? The answer lies in understanding what really happens inside your arteries. Imagine the inner lining of your arteries, called the endothelium, as a smooth, polished highway. blood flows freely, nutrients and oxygen travel effortlessly. But when you consume inflammatory foods, processed oils, refined sugars, and lectin-heavy grains, tiny injuries appear on that highway. These are microscopic cuts that your body now needs to repair. And what does the body do when there's an injury? It sends a repair crew. That's where cholesterol comes in. Cholesterol isn't trying to block your arteries. It's trying to heal them. It rushes to the site of injury like a firefighter responding to a fire alarm. But here's the problem. If the fire of inflammation never stops, the firefighters never leave. They keep piling up at the site, layer after layer, until the highway becomes narrow. Eventually, the blood flow slows, and one day it stops completely. A heart attack. So it's not cholesterol causing the fire. It's the fire that's causing the cholesterol. This understanding changes everything. It means that taking drugs to simply lower cholesterol doesn't necessarily fix the problem. You're turning off the fire alarm, not putting out the fire. That's why many patients who take cholesterol-lowering medications still end up with heart attacks, strokes, and clogged arteries. Because the real enemy, inflammation, is still burning beneath the surface. Now, what fuels that inflammation? Let's be honest, it's not fate, and it's not genetics. It's the choices we make every single day. Every spoon of sugar, every packet of processed snacks, every bottle of soda, they all ignite inflammation. Vegetable oils like canola, sunflower, and soybean, marketed as heart-healthy, are anything but. They oxidize easily, producing toxins that inflame blood vessels. Even stress, poor sleep, and lack of movement pour gasoline on this internal fire. On the other hand, when you eat anti-inflammatory foods, leafy greens, avocados, wild fish, extra virgin olive oil, walnuts, your body begins to cool down that fire. The arteries relax, the immune system calms, the endothelium starts to heal. And guess what? Cholesterol naturally finds its balance. Your body doesn't have to fight anymore. Dr. Gundry often says, cholesterol is innocent at the crime scene, but inflammation is the one who pulled the trigger. That single sentence captures the new truth of modern cardiology. We don't get heart disease because cholesterol exists in our blood. We get it because our lifestyle continuously damages our arteries and forces cholesterol to act as a patch. So instead of fearing cholesterol, we should focus on fighting inflammation. And that means eating clean, moving daily, sleeping deeply, and learning to manage stress before it manages us. When we remove inflammation, the body does what it was designed to do, heal itself. The arteries clear, energy returns, and the heart begins to beat with strength and rhythm once again. So, the next time you hear someone say, "You have high cholesterol," remember this: cholesterol isn't your enemy, it's your body's rescue team. For decades, doctors believed the heart was an independent organ, a powerful pump that worked on its own. But modern science tells a very different story. Your heart is not an isolated machine. It's part of a vast, intelligent system. And one of its most powerful partners sits quietly in your abdomen, your gut. Yes, your gut and your heart are deeply connected in ways most people never imagine. When your gut is unhealthy, your heart suffers, even if you have no digestive symptoms at all. That's because your gut is not just a place where food is digested. It's the command center of your immune system and the gateway to inflammation. And as we now know, inflammation is the real trigger for heart disease. Let's dive deeper. Inside your gut live trillions of bacteria. We call them the microbiome. Think of them as microscopic citizens of a vast city. Some are hardworking citizens that protect you, while others are troublemakers that can create chaos. When the good bacteria thrive, they maintain order. They strengthen the gut lining, help you digest food properly, and keep your immune system calm. But when bad bacteria take over, due to processed foods, sugar, antibiotics, or stress, they begin to damage that delicate lining. Small holes appear in the wall of your intestine, and unwanted toxins, proteins, and bacteria start to leak into your bloodstream. This condition is now known as leaky gut syndrome. And this is where your heart gets dragged into the battle. You see, when these foreign particles escape the gut and enter your blood, your immune system panics. It attacks them, creating a constant low-grade inflammation that spreads throughout your body. Over time, this inflammation doesn't just affect your joints or skin. It targets your arteries, the highways that feed your heart. The inner lining of your blood vessels becomes irritated and inflamed. And once again, cholesterol steps in to patch the damage. That's how a problem that begins in your gut ends up clogging your arteries. Dr. Gundry often says, if you want to fix your heart, start by healing your gut. And that's the truth most cardiologists overlook. Because the food we eat determines the health of our gut. And the health of our gut determines the health of our heart. When you fill your body with fiber-rich vegetables, fermented foods, and healthy fats, you're feeding the good bacteria. These bacteria, in return, produce powerful compounds called short-chain fatty acids, especially one called butyrate. Butyrate reduces inflammation, strengthens the gut lining, and even communicates with your arteries, telling them to relax. Yes, your gut literally talks to your heart through biochemical signals. And when this conversation is healthy, your heart beats easier, your blood pressure stabilizes, and your energy rises. But when you eat the modern Western diet, loaded with sugar, white flour, seed oils, and preservatives, the opposite happens. Bad bacteria thrive, good bacteria die, the gut becomes leaky, and your heart suffers the consequences. In fact, recent studies show that people with unhealthy gut microbiomes have a significantly higher risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and even heart failure. So the next time you think about protecting your heart, don't just focus on cholesterol levels or blood pressure. Ask yourself, what's happening in my gut? Because every bite of food you take either feeds inflammation or fights it. Every meal is a message your gut sends to your heart, and your heart responds accordingly. When you start healing your gut, everything changes. Your digestion improves, your energy returns, and your blood vessels relax. Your immune system cools down, and your heart finally gets the peace it deserves. So yes, the road to a healthy heart runs straight through your gut. Treat your gut like the control center it is, and your heart will thank you with every strong, steady beat. Heart disease rarely begins with a dramatic heart attack. It begins with whispers, soft, subtle, everyday clues that most people ignore. Your body is constantly talking to you, but the tragedy is that we've become so busy, so distracted that we've forgotten how to listen. You see, the heart is not just a mechanical pump. It's an intelligent organ that responds to your entire lifestyle. Your food, your stress, your sleep, even your emotions. Before it fails loudly, it speaks quietly, and those quiet messages are the most important ones. Let's start with one of the most common yet overlooked signs: fatigue. You wake up feeling tired even after a full night's sleep. You need more coffee than you used to just to get through the day. You climb a flight of stairs and suddenly find yourself breathing heavier than before. Most people dismiss this as just age or just stress, but fatigue is one of the earliest signs that your heart isn't keeping up. When your arteries are slightly narrowed or inflamed, your cells get less oxygen. Your heart has to work harder to deliver blood, and that extra strain leaves you feeling drained. Your body isn't being lazy, it's giving you a warning. Another ignored signal: shortness of breath. If you find yourself winded after light exercise, or even while lying flat in bed, your heart might be struggling to pump efficiently. Many patients think this is a lung issue, but often it's the heart's cry for help. It's like your body saying, I can't get enough oxygen because something's blocking the way. Then there's pain, but not the kind you expect. We've been taught to look for chest pain, but heart-related pain can appear in the most unexpected places. For some, it's a dull ache in the upper back or shoulder. For others, it's pressure in the jaw, neck, or even the left arm. Women especially often experience typical symptoms: nausea, indigestion, or unexplained anxiety that doctors may overlook. These sensations are your body's coded messages. The heart doesn't always scream, Sometimes it whispers through discomfort elsewhere. Dr. Gundry often says, your body is the smartest machine ever built. It never malfunctions without a reason. It just speaks a language you've forgotten to understand. And that's where awareness becomes your greatest medicine. When you begin to notice patterns, fatigue that doesn't make sense, swelling in the ankles, dizziness when standing up, or waking in the night short of breath, that's your body flashing yellow lights. It's not yet an emergency, but it's telling you to slow down, to look deeper. Another subtle clue: poor sleep and restless nights. When your heart is under strain, your nervous system remains on alert. That's why many people with early heart issues find themselves tossing and turning or waking at 2 or 3 a.m. It's not just stress. It's the body's way of saying something deeper is out of balance. Even your mood and focus can tell a story. Reduced blood flow to the brain due to minor arterial stiffness can cause irritability, forgetfulness, or brain fog. If you find yourself feeling mentally drained or emotionally heavy for no clear reason, it might not be just in your head. It might be in your circulation. Here's the beautiful truth: these clues don't exist to scare you. They exist to save you. Because if you listen early, you can heal early. Start paying attention to your body's feedback. Keep a daily log of how you feel, how your energy fluctuates, how your breath responds to activity. If something feels off, don't brush it away. Investigate. Your heart doesn't send these signs by accident. Every time you sit down to eat, you're not just filling your stomach. You're making a decision that will either heal your body or harm it. Your food is never neutral. It's either medicine or it's poison. And nowhere is that truer than when it comes to your heart. Most people think heart disease is caused by genetics or bad luck. But science now tells a very different story. Nearly 80% of heart disease is driven not by fate, but by what we choose to put on our plates every single day. Your food is information. It speaks directly to your cells, your arteries, and even your genes. It tells your body whether to turn inflammation on or off. It decides whether your arteries stay clean and flexible or become clogged and brittle. Let's start with the foods that act like poison. Walk down any supermarket aisle and you'll see them, beautifully packaged, aggressively marketed, and deadly over time. Processed foods, refined sugars, and artificial oils are the silent killers of modern life. Every bite of fried fast food, every sugary drink, every processed snack lights a tiny spark of inflammation inside you. You don't feel it today, but that fire burns, slowly, persistently, until one day your arteries can't take it anymore. Dr. Gundry often explains that these foods create leaky gut, tiny holes in your intestinal wall that allow harmful particles to slip into your bloodstream. When these toxins circulate, your immune system attacks them, creating widespread inflammation that damages the lining of your arteries. Once again, cholesterol rushes in to patch the wounds, forming plaque. It's not the cholesterol that started the problem. It's the food that did. And then there are seed oils, canola, soybean, corn, sunflower, which we've been falsely told are heart healthy. The truth: these oils are highly unstable. They oxidize easily, producing toxic compounds that stiffen arteries and stress your heart cells. They make your body more inflamed, more tired, and more prone to disease. Combine these oils with sugar and processed carbs, and you've created the perfect storm for heart damage. Now, let's flip the story, because food can also be the most powerful medicine you'll ever use. When you feed your body whole, natural foods, vegetables, olive oil, avocados, wild fish, nuts, and leafy greens, you calm inflammation, heal your gut, and support your arteries. These foods don't just nourish you. They communicate with your genes. They tell your body to repair, to rejuvenate, to protect. Take olive oil, for example. It's packed with polyphenols, natural antioxidants that fight oxidative stress and inflammation in your blood vessels. Or leafy greens, rich in nitrates that relax your arteries and lower blood pressure naturally. Even simple foods like garlic and turmeric act like natural medicines, cleaning up toxins and balancing cholesterol levels without side effects. Think of your plate as your prescription pad. Every meal you eat 3 times a day is a chance to write yourself a prescription for health or for disease. If you fill it with living, vibrant foods, you're giving your heart a daily dose of healing. If you fill it with processed, packaged, or fried foods, you're feeding disease one bite at a time. Food is also emotional. It's comfort, it's culture, it's connection. But if we truly love our families, our traditions, and our lives, we need to redefine comfort. Comfort should come from the peace of knowing you're fueling your body, not harming it. Dr. Gundry puts it best. Your fork is the most powerful medical tool you will ever hold. So the next time you pick up that fork, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this bite medicine or is it poison? Because your heart is listening to every choice you make. And the choices you make today will decide whether your future is filled with energy, clarity, and long life, or fatigue, illness, and regret. The power to heal your heart isn't in a pill bottle. It's on your plate. Choose wisely. Choose life. Choose food that loves you back. If there's one truth I want every person to understand, it's this: you are not powerless. Your health is not determined by your genes, your age, or your family history. It's determined by your choices. Healing is not something that happens to you, it's something that happens through you. Yes, healing is, and always has been, in your hands. For decades, people were told that heart disease was a lifetime sentence. Once you had it, that was it. A lifetime of pills, procedures, and fear. But modern science, combined with years of patient transformation, tells a very different story. Your body is a living, breathing miracle of repair. Every single cell in your body is designed to heal if you give it the right conditions. Dr. Gundry often reminds his patients, your body isn't broken. It's doing exactly what you've been telling it to do. When you feed it junk, it inflames. When you stress it constantly, it tightens. When you deprive it of sleep, it slows down. But when you nourish it, when you rest it, when you move it with intention, it thanks you with healing that goes far beyond what any medicine can provide. Let's talk about how that healing begins. It starts with awareness, the decision to listen to your body's whispers before they become screams. Maybe it's fatigue, swelling, or shortness of breath. Maybe it's brain fog or anxiety. Those are not random annoyances. They are the language of your body asking for help. When you pay attention, you give yourself the gift of early intervention. And that's where healing begins. Next comes ownership. It's easy to hand our health to doctors, pills, and procedures, but true recovery happens when you decide to take responsibility. That doesn't mean rejecting modern medicine. It means partnering with it. Medicine can manage your condition, but only your daily habits can transform it. What you eat, how you sleep, how you think. These are your real medicines. Science has now proven that lifestyle medicine can literally reverse heart disease. Yes, reverse. A diet rich in natural foods, combined with movement, stress control, and restorative sleep, can reopen arteries, lower blood pressure, and balance cholesterol without invasive procedures. Your body constantly replaces its cells, regenerates its lining, and rebuilds its tissues. In other words, healing is not a miracle. It's biology. Then comes belief. Because let's be honest, healing isn't just about what you eat or how much you exercise. It's also about what you believe is possible. If you walk around thinking, I'm too old, or it's too late, you've already told your body to give up. But if you choose to believe, I can change, I can heal, I can thrive, your body listens. Your mind releases chemicals that enhance repair, reduce stress, and restore energy. The heart is both a physical and emotional organ. It responds to hope as much as it does to nutrients. Finally, consistency is your greatest healer. Small daily actions done repeatedly. Walking 30 minutes, eating real food, getting quality sleep, breathing deeply. These are not small things. They are the foundation of transformation. You don't need perfection. You just need persistence. Every time you choose an apple over a pastry, you are healing. Every time you go for a walk instead of scrolling your phone, you are healing. Every time you forgive someone and release stress, you are healing. Each decision compounds like drops of water filling a glass, until one day, your body thanks you with vitality you thought was lost forever. So, the next time you look in the mirror, remember this: you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the author of your health story. The pills may help, the doctors may guide, but the real healer, the one who decides whether your body decays or thrives, is you. Your heart isn't waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for your permission to heal. And the moment you take responsibility, the moment you say, "Enough, I choose life, I choose health," that's the exact moment your healing begins. Because the truth is simple, yet powerful: healing doesn't happen in hospitals. It happens in habits. And those habits are already in your hands.